Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel for another video. I am so excited to be filming this one today because today, this is actually something that I get asked so much, guys. What is it like being a black woman living in South Korea? And people ask me all types of questions, especially when I was just home for the holidays actually, last month. And you know, I had ran into so many people I hadn't seen in a while, and not even necessarily mostly like my close family and friends, but just, you know, other people out and about. And yeah, like I got kind of asked a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of questions. You know, what is it like being there? What is it like, you know, being black? What is it like, you know, doing X, Y, and Z? Can you do this? Can you do that? How do you get your hair done? You know, are people racist? You know, all of these questions that, of course, are like natural things that you think about when you think of a person of color moving to a place like Korea, you know, in Asia. And you know, it is a very homogenous society, which we will be talking about later in the video. But yeah, I just decided I would kind of finally go ahead and make this video and kind of just address a couple of things. And if you are a black woman watching this, considering maybe moving to Asia or moving to South Korea specifically, you know, hopefully this video will give you a better insight into what life looks like. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get into the video. First things first, guys, access to hair care, skincare. Now, as far as skincare goes, Korean skincare is actually really good for black skin, as long as you're not getting anything with, you know, any whitening properties, brightening properties. I would obviously stay clear of those things. And I did do like a Korean skincare like beauty haul on my channel. I'll be doing another one soon as well. But definitely, if you are in the market and you have my complexion or something close to this, then yeah, I mean, those videos will be great for you to check out. But yes, Korean skincare is actually really great for black skin, and you shouldn't have any problems with that. You can go ham, you can buy up, you know, all the different types, with the exception of, as I said, brightening, whitening. Obviously, we don't want any of those properties infiltrating our beautiful, rich, decadent chocolate skin. Right, ladies? Am I right, ladies? Now, makeup. Makeup is gonna be much harder. I'm not even gonna say a bit, much. And I wouldn't even suggest that you rely on buying things online like I did. I knew that it was going to be challenging coming here, trying to find my makeup in my shade as far as foundation and things like that. But even buying it online is not reliable here, because I tried that. So you can just take my word on it, ladies. Don't make the same mistakes I did. And you pay an arm and a leg in shipping anyways. So the best thing is for you, if you are planning on being in, you know, Asia for an extended amount of time, or moving here or anything like that, just come with extras, with backups and refills of your products that you know that you love and that you know that you're going to use and use up and eventually need to buy another one. I would just suggest that you just do that. That way you don't have to stress about it. But there are places that you can find your shade of makeup here in Seoul. I'm going to say in Seoul because in Seoul. And probably a couple of other places around the country as well. But predominantly Seoul would probably have you'll have better luck. But even still, I've been to many a Max. I've been to many department stores in general, going to several different makeup brands, just trying to see what they had, and with no luck. Same thing goes for clothing, ladies. So when it comes to sizing of clothing, if you're like me and you do have hips and you do have, you know, you're not a straight and narrow, or you've got more curves on you, definitely finding like things like jeans is going to be a little bit of a struggle. So online shopping for that, now for that, we can definitely say online shopping is going to be a good thing, and it's going to definitely work in your favor. But if you are just, you know, have a wider, a bigger frame, if you're a bigger girl, if you have, you know, maybe if you're plus sized, this is, in many ways it may be uncomfortable for you, living here, shopping here, and even just in daily life. And not to say that there are not big people here in Korea, because there are plenty of overweight, you know, Asian women that I've seen, Korean women that I've seen. You know, they're not all stick skinny, thin, but that is the ideal beauty here. So, you know, and yeah, I see an article like every other day about how Korean beauty standards are, you know, being redefined and reshaped and reimaged and blah blah blah. But the fact remains that that is still what most people strive for, and that is still what most people kind of view as beauty. If you don't give, you know, a damn about what Korean beauty standards are, like I personally don't. I'm not a fan of their fashion a lot of times. Some things I do really love, and there are some really stylish Korean women that I've seen, but then there are also mostly, I would say for the most part, the Korean fashion is pretty atrocious. Not atrocious, let's not use that word. In some cases it is, but you know, that's just my opinion. You know, there are certain things that are in style here that I would never wear, that I would feel silly to wear and bring back to the States and think that that's gonna be a fashion thing. You know, so personally that's not something that I'm into, but you know, obviously everybody has their own opinion, and you know, there are plenty of foreigners who love Korean fashion and who embrace it. So absolutely, if that's your cup of tea. Access to hair care. Now for hair care, I would have to say it's right up there with the skincare. You definitely will not have a problem finding a place to get your hair done, or having access to hair, because we have a beautiful thing called AliExpress. So if you're a girl who likes your, you know, hair, you like your extensions, you like your wigs, you like your braiding hair, you know, you're good on that. I mean, and there's such a big African population here in Korea that it's so easy to just hop on Facebook and find somebody who can do your hair. There's so many people, especially in the Itaewon area in Seoul. A lot of Africans and foreigners live in that area in general, so that is where I go to get all of my beauty things done. Hair, waxing, nails, you name it, that's where I go. Regardless, it doesn't matter if you're living in Seoul or another area, you know, you can always find somebody close to where you're at to be able to do your hair, because I used to live 2.5 hours away from Seoul, and I knew a girl 30 minutes away from me that would do my hair. And so, you know, and she was a black girl, American, and she just did it in her apartment. But, you know, if you start talking to people, people will let you know where to go when it comes to these things. So that's not something that you'd need to worry about. Daily life while black. So, yeah, when I first got to Korea, I definitely had a lot of people staring at me, talking about me in Korean, and I'd be walking past. And mind you, when I did come to Korea, I did move to a smaller city first. I was not living in the Seoul metro area, and now that I am, I mean, most people couldn't give two shits if I was, you know, orange, you know what I mean? And that's probably an exaggeration, actually. People don't stare at me, you know, when I'm in Seoul, or when I'm in, you know, when I'm like home. But definitely when I first got to Korea, that was a big thing. And I do have to say, I am not a stranger to being, you know, the only black girl in the room, or the only minority in whatever space I'm in. So for me, I'm used to that. You know, I went to predominantly white schools growing up, and that has never really been an issue for me. What was kind of weird was that people would stare, and like, yeah, it's really rude, but they would just stare. I mean, it's almost as if they'd never seen a person of color before, which in some cases is true for some, you know, maybe not in real life, you know, especially some of the young little kids. But odds are definitely these adults have, because more and more foreigners, like every couple of months, every time I turn around. I just revisited that city that I'm just talking about now, the first city I lived in. I was just there a couple weeks ago, and I was looking around like, oh my goodness, there's so many foreigners everywhere. You know, I was out and about, and I saw so many foreigners, and it was like, it was a completely different place than when I had, you know, moved there at the beginning of 2018. Also, yes, you know, some people will come up to you and take pictures with you. It does sort of make you feel like a celebrity, maybe in the beginning. You know, a lot of people don't like that. And, you know, I have been in a few situations when it has come to that things did get out of hand. And and you know, Koreans don't do that typically, I have to say. I hear that the Chinese are the ones that are like really bad with that, but for the most part, honestly, they're really friendly people. I have not experienced, you know, racist, you know, behavior or backlash towards me, with the exception of a few comments that were probably, you know, a little backwards. But honestly, that type of thing happens in the US all the time, and I'm not gonna say that I'm used to it, because it'll always be off to me if somebody says something that, you know, is kind of just ignorant or, you know, anything like that. Understand that, you know, there are some people that haven't come into, you know, contact in such a way with a person of color. Sometimes, especially your students, if you're coming here to teach, you know, and if they have, maybe they haven't been able to kind of cultivate a relationship to where they've been able to, you know, be comfortable enough to say certain things, to ask certain questions. So my biggest tip on that is, please don't take things offensively. You know, even if somebody is racist towards or says something racist towards you, you know, do not take that personally. You don't need to be offended by every little thing, okay? You can choose to not be offended by that. Now, I'm not saying just let people treat you any type of way and don't care if, you know, people treat you badly or whatever. I'm just saying, because you know that's not me, okay? And I believe in standing up for yourself, but there's a way to do it. And, you know, if something is said about you, which odds are, I mean, come on, if you're gonna be living in a place like this, you're gonna get some comments as a black person, as a black woman. You're gonna get some comments about something. If it's not your skin, if it's not your hair, if it's not, you know, where you come from, if it's not something related to Africa, if it's not something related to, even if you're not African. So you just have to come into it knowing that, and, you know, don't be offended. Just always see things as a teachable moment and a learning opportunity for yourself and also for the other person. You know, give them the opportunity to, you know, learn something out of, you know, interactions with you, because you have to think about the reason why you're there. The reason why, you know, Korea has, you know, all of these different ways and outlets and things like that for foreigners to be able to come into the country to work, to go to school, to learn, to do all of these things, is so that the people can be, you know, more, how can I say, better acquainted with, you know, foreigners and people that are not like them, okay, and that people that don't look like them. So you have to understand and kind of go back to the root of why you're even here in the first place. That may not be your main purpose for being here, that you want to come here and change the lives of all these Asian people and show them how amazing black people are, black women are. I'm not saying that that should be your goal, but I am saying that part of the reason why you're able to come here to work, to, you know, do what you're doing, is due to that. And it's a blessing. So, you know, try to see it that way. I would just say don't take things personally, and yeah, just, you know, take everything as a learning opportunity and all. Oh, it's not like we're living in the US and, you know, a person who doesn't like you because of your skin color can come and shoot you dead, and a person who doesn't like you because of your skin color, you know, or just, you know, a lot of time black women are seen as targets in other parts of the world, including the US. You know, it's not like you're gonna be in danger and you have to protect yourself, and, you know, you you're fearful of, you know, being taken advantage of, or being, you know, at the wrong place at the wrong time and being used in a certain way. It's not like that here at all. So I have to say, safety, 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 safety is number one. Korea is very, very safe. And actually, Asia in general is very safe. China, Korea, and I want to say Japan are very, very safe destinations for women in general, to travel and feel safe, because those things do not happen here like the way that you see it in, you know, mainstream media back in the States and other parts of the world. You're very, very safe here. You can walk out in the middle of the night in the back alley and nobody will bother you. Nobody will rob you. Nobody will, you know, you don't have to fear getting kidnapped. You don't have to fear getting raped. Kids here play until like midnight out in the playgrounds and stuff. So you're completely fine here. Kids don't get kidnapped like that, you know, things like that. So those are things that you don't have to worry about in Asia, which I personally love and I'm gonna miss so much, you know, when I move back abroad. Dating in Korea. So I think this is going to be one of my last sort of little sections of this video. Dating in Korea for Black women. So and not even for Black women, just foreigners in general. Let's just go ahead and make this foreigners, but we're also going to talk about Black women now because that's the point of this video. As a foreign woman, if you want to date in Korea and you are interested in dating Korean men, I think it's very, very important to understand that the odds of you being taken seriously as like a serious girlfriend, wife, you know, being taken home to meet their parents and all these things, is pretty unlikely. So, I also want to preface all of this by saying I don't have any personal experience on this matter. I have seen other couples where there has been a Black woman and a Korean man here in Korea. I didn't know if they were, you know, there's one couple that I did meet and talk to. That wasn't gonna last, I can tell you that. But hey, have fun while you can. And then there was another couple that I did see. I probably have seen 3 total in an entire year, guys, entire year. And you don't even see, and that's just Black women, but you don't see a lot of foreign women with Korean men out in public like they're in a relationship. You know, it's kind of far and few between. You will see more Korean girls with foreign guys, Black and white. So there's just, you know, some knowledge, I don't know, but so that's kind of an interesting take. But when it comes to the men, they really do prefer to date and marry Korean women overall. Definitely be aware of that if you're gonna be dating, you know, not to say that you cannot have a serious relationship with somebody that is Korean, but most likely you're gonna want to be with somebody that is Korean American or, you know, of another nationality, you know, as well, because of just the way that things are and the cultural breakdown of it all. So I have talked to countless of foreign women in general, Black, white, Asians of other nationalities, and they all say the same thing. Korean men do not take them seriously. And, you know, I personally, that's not my personal cup of tea. But if it is for you, I'm not saying that dating is wrong. You can have all the fun in the world if you want. If you're here and you're living here, say you're teaching English like me, by all means, girl, go ahead, do what you want. But definitely have that knowledge, and it's not something that's a secret also. I mean, talk to enough people, go out and look with your own eyes and look around, and it's pretty easy to come to that conclusion, even in a place like Seoul. I mean, actually, it's probably the most obvious there because there are so many more foreigners here. As far as interactions with Korean people, I think that, you know, they're great as far as who they are as a people, and, you know, the interactions on a social level, let's say that. When it comes to work and business, that's a completely different story, which I will be doing a video on that, so definitely stay tuned. But if you are a Black woman and you are considering moving to South Korea or Asia in general, I highly recommend it. As I mentioned before, it's very safe. Do not let people lie to you and tell you, you know, that it's not safe and you know, all of these things that people say, because I've heard it all, you know. But definitely do not be afraid to travel, you know, and this is definitely, whether you're wanting to come visit, you're wanting to just travel for leisure, or you are wanting to live in another place, definitely I would suggest South Korea being a great place. And yeah, guys, that is the premise of this video. I hope it was able to help you in some sort of way, or you were able to take something out of it. Hopefully it answered some questions if any of you were curious on what life is like as a Black woman living in South Korea. But yeah, that's all for now. All right, guys, love you, and I'll see you soon in another video. Okay, bye.